Hello, welcome to week one. This is your Blackboard basics video, and I will just go through really quickly just some tips and tricks as you're navigating through the Blackboard system. For a lot of you, this may be the very first time that you're using Blackboard as an online classroom module, and depending on where you're at on the spectrum, especially for an online class, Blackboard really is the tool that you'll use the entire semester. So you really want to make sure that you're familiar with how to use the Blackboard system. So I'm going to go through a couple of things that are specific to this Blackboard course. The very first thing is over on the left-hand side, you're going to notice that there's a toolbar, and on that toolbar, you'll notice that there's various basically table of content areas. And so the very first thing that you'll see is an announcement section. This is really critical for you because typically weekly I will post various announcements that are specific to the course. There might be different things that are going on campus that you might choose to engage in. And so you'll really want to pay attention to that announcement portion of the course. The announcements are cataloged so you can scroll through and view the various announcements for the semester. And also when I post an announcement, I make sure that that announcement also sends you an email. So you'll see an email show up in your student email account. So you want to make sure that you're checking that on a regular basis as well, because this is a great way for me to communicate with you things that are happening with the course, but also things that are happening on or around campus. So announcements. Also over on the left-hand side, you'll notice that there is a tab that says faculty information, and this is really important if you're needing to get in contact with me. So you'll notice when you click on that tab, it's going to give you information specific to your instructor for this class. And so each instructor should, when they're uploading faculty information, have a little maybe photo, maybe a little bio, but the most critical part is how to reach them. So their email account, their phone number, if they have office hours, what their office hours are, or where their office is located. So for me, I'm located at our Nampa campus academic building, which is just past the Idaho Center in the big 3-story building here in Nampa, and I'm located in room 107A. So you can usually it's best to send me an email to actually schedule an appointment, because depending on the day and where I'm heading, I may or may not be in the office. But this is great information for you if you have questions about the course, if you have questions about maybe studying agriculture, or want to just chat. A lot of students will just stop by my office and chat. So faculty information, great resource as you're navigating through the Blackboard system. The other thing that's critical for a lot of students is the course syllabus. And this is really the contract between you and your instructor, so myself, basically letting you know what's expected of you in the course. A lot of times you'll see a course calendar, so really a week-by-week schedule of what the plans are for the course, the necessary assignments and due dates, so you know what to expect, as well as any policies or procedures that are specific to CWI or your instructor. There's a grading scale there as well, so you can kind of see how many points there are for the semester, as well as that grading scale of how many points do I need in order to get an A or a B or a C. So syllabus, like I said, your contract, it's really something that you'll reference a lot throughout the semester to really use as a what to expect next within the course. Then you start coming into some things that are pretty unique to each individual instructor. So I like to build my online classes in learning modules, and I find that students are very successful in this avenue of really week by week, what am I expected to do, what are my due dates, and really outlining it in that way. So when you click on this learning module link, you'll notice that each week is noted with the week number as well as a title, and these are set to open weekly or in a summer class, usually on Wednesdays for week 1, so odd weeks, and then Saturdays for even weeks, because we're covering so much information in a condensed summer session. So I break them out into modules, and you can click on that module. So week 1, what should we have for dinner? Again, this will walk you through, once you click on that, all of the various things that are within that specific module that need to be completed. So the way that I structure my modules is I always have a welcome announcement. So you'll always see some kind of like, here's just a quick overview of the information that we're going to cover. The thing that students find really helpful within this is the weekly checklist, and this really outlines for a lot of students, tell me exactly what I need to do this week in order to get all of the content that I need for the week, the assignments, the discussion boards, quizzes, whatever it is. Let me see it really fast and basically a list so that I know what needs to be completed. And then after that, you'll start to scroll down into the specific information for that module. And so there will be various things embedded within that module. There will be information about your text and what chapters you need to read. There will be your quizzes, your discussion boards will link out through this. Any assignments that you have for the week can be uploaded through that weekly module. And then every week, because this is a Connecting with Ideas course, so 2/3 of it is content related to Michael Pollan's Omnivore's Dilemma book, but 1/3 of it is also related to really linking you as a student to CWI and the different resources that we have available to you as a student. So you'll notice that every week I have a little thing that says, let's connect, Connecting with Ideas, outcome accomplished. For this week, it's navigating Blackboard. So this little video serves as your tutorial on how to navigate through Blackboard, and then you'll take a quiz to show that you now understand that. So learning modules, I use those every single week. All of the content that you need for the learning module will be embedded within that specific week. So you'll reference this quite a bit because this is where, like I said, you'll find the information that you need for the specific week. There's also a quick link over on the left-hand side to your discussion board. So if you don't want to access it directly through the weekly module, you can just click on that little discussion board link there, and it'll take you to the active discussion board that you can complete for the week. The thing to know about discussion boards is you really want to read through it. You really want to pay attention to the directions. So for example, in week 1, it says you must answer every question in this discussion board. So there's 4 different questions that are posed here. So question 1, an introduction of yourself. Question 2 really talks about Michael Pollan and this idea of in 2002, the Atkins diet was introduced and how that really changed the way in which we thought about breads and pastas and really put meat back on the table. And we've seen this happen over the years. So nutritionists latch on to something and then that becomes the newest, latest trend. We see meat disappear from the table. We see it come back. We see bread and pasta disappear from the table. We see it come back. So you're going to go out and find a quick search on the internet about a diet that you found and then give us just some quick nitty-gritty details. There's a lot out there. I have a friend recently within the last several weeks that started the keto diet. So do a quick search. You'll find a lot of different diets are out there and just give us the details and then talk about whether or not you think this is a legitimate diet that people should engage in. Question 3 talks about this idea of eating as a culture. This will really tie into your signature assignment at the end of the semester, but really in this question, I want you to think about your culture. Think about where you came from, and that could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So when I think about where I came from, I grew up on a farm, and so I could legitimately say that my culture might be agriculture. We grew up eating meat, potatoes, and vegetables, and that was the meal that was on the table every night for dinner. So I may identify with a beef roast with potatoes and green beans and rolls on the side, which for some people is probably like, that's absolutely crazy. People don't eat like that anymore. But for me as a culture and what I grew up deeply rooted in rural Idaho and agriculture, that's the way we ate. Or I could look even further back and say, my family descended here from Germany, and at Thanksgiving, we love to eat sauerkraut and turkey. which again probably sounds crazy to a lot of people, but that really is, for me, this idea of eating as a culture. We come together at Thanksgiving, we prepare sauerkraut, we prepare turkey, and it's really this idea of sitting down around the dinner table, participating in a meal, and engaging in the social aspect of eating and eating as a culture. And then finally, the last question that you'll address this week is this idea of how we identify various foods. So we've really come to a place within food and the food industry where we're kind of at a crossroads. So you hear organic, you hear conventional, you hear great, I want to engage in this organic movement, but do I buy a local organic, or is it okay if it's imported from across the country? This idea of wild fish versus farmed fish, like, does that matter? Do I identify one way or another? Trans fat versus butter. So, or, a lot of people will say, I eat meat. I enjoy meat, or I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian or I'm a pescatarian, and that's what I've identified myself as when it comes to food. So look at page 5. He outlines several questions. Look at those questions and think about, is there something within that list that I really, when I go to the grocery store, I identify with this and I really pay attention to that label or that thing that really matters to me within our food system. So once you've identified, you've responded to those 4 questions, you'll post that discussion board. And then part 2, that's really important every single week in your discussion board postings, is you also need to go in and respond to your peers. So because we don't get to meet face to face, it's really important that you take the time to go in and read through your peers' posts and respond to them. And in order to get full credit, you need to make sure that you respond to at least 3 of your peers. So you'll want to make sure that you do that every single week in order to get full points on the discussion board. The discussion boards are a really, really big component of this class. So if you have questions, if you're having concerns, problems, whatnot, please reach out to me and let me know. The next thing that students usually do within Blackboard is they like to view their grades. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see a little area that says My Grades, and then that'll take you into the Grade Center where I will be posting your grades. So you'll see those popping up throughout the semester, and then it'll tell you how many points you earned on that specific assignment. There's also oftentimes a rubric there for you to go in and view to see how assignments are graded so that you can try to maximize the total points that you can within this online class. So view your grades, view them often, make sure that you're aware of the progress that you're making in the course. If you're starting to fall behind, make sure that you reach out to me early so that we can try to rectify that grade throughout the semester. Oftentimes students will wait until the last minute, and by then it's too late to try to go up and to go back. And I don't even allow students to go back. So one thing that you should know is within this class, I don't accept late work. So you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to those deadlines, that you're aware of the things that need to be submitted each week, paying attention to that checklist. If you know that you need to take a quiz and the quiz is due Saturday at midnight, don't launch the quiz Saturday at 11:50 only to find out that for whatever reason you might have issues or it's not enough time to complete the quiz. So make sure that you're working through your course material. Time management is critical. And if you're having problems, please reach out early. The last thing that I will say again, because I said it at the beginning, is you want to make sure when you're navigating through Blackboard, logging into Blackboard, that you're using Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. A lot of students have issues with Internet Explorer, Safari, so Apple products, Safari sometimes will give students fits with quizzes. So with that, this is your tutorial to Blackboard and specifically my online CWID class. Again, if you have questions, concerns, feel free to email me, call me, or schedule a time and come by my office. I hope that you have a fantastic semester, and I look forward to getting to know all of you.